What's up everybody, this is Master Ian Gamer. Overwatch 2 Season 12 saw the release of Overwatch 2's newest hero, Juno, a hero which has not only proven to be quite fun to play in-game, but also quite popular within the community itself. It's probably not hard to see why. She has a rather cutesy design, a friendly and cute personality, and overall fans have pretty rapidly fallen in love with her, even before she was officially added to the game. Though for a character who is so appealing in these ways, there is a strange caveat to her addition, which is that she launched with absolutely zero purchasable skins. This appears to be a rather strange decision on Blizzard's part, as clearly the company could stand to make quite a bit of money through selling cosmetics for such a popular hero, and yet she launched with nothing for players to buy, even while heroes like Mercy and Kiriko keep getting new skins season after season. So in today's video, I want to delve into why exactly this may be the case. Why exactly is Blizzard sleeping on such a popular new hero, and why, unfortunately, is this only the latest low point in an ongoing trend? But speaking of sleep, first I'd like to take a moment to talk about today's sponsor, Manta Sleep. Are you sick of failing to get a good night's rest because your team won't stop spamming ultimates in overtime? Then you need your very own Manta Sleep Mask. Made with only the coziest of materials, these sleep masks are guaranteed to net you quality sleep, whether it's at home, work, or on the go. Adjustable straps and eye cups ensure a perfect fit, no matter your head size or shape, granting maximum comfort when sleeping on both your back and side. Offering a wide range of products to fit your personal sleep needs, my favorite is the Manta Sound Sleep Mask. Featuring adjustable Bluetooth speakers seamlessly built into the mask, I can enjoy listening to music, podcasts, or random fox noises as I drift off to dreamland. To get your very own Manta Sleep Mask, follow the link down in the description and use code MIG at checkout to get 10% off your order. That's code MIG for 10% off and a guaranteed upgrade to the quality of your sleep. Thank you, Manta Sleep, for sponsoring today's video, and now back to Season 12. So in order to better contextualize the state of skins for new heroes like Juno, I think it's best to go back in time, back to the days of Overwatch 1, and take a look at the history of hero additions and the skins they would get upon being released into the game. Well, back in Overwatch 1, we saw a pretty consistent trend for the duration of Overwatch 1's lifespan, where each new hero that released would be added to the game with 4 base legendary skins divided into 2 separate models, each with 2 color variants, and 2 epic skins. This is in addition to the lowest tier rare recolor skins, but they're fairly insignificant for the most part, so I'm not really going to focus on these here in this video. But nonetheless, 6 total skins were added as a base part of the hero's hero gallery and cosmetics, 4 legendaries divided into 2 sets, plus 2 epic skins. Now, over the course of Overwatch 1, certain heroes would get additional skins added, but when a hero launched, these were always the bare minimum we saw getting added with the new heroes. But then we move on to Overwatch 2, and this is where things start to change for the worse. With the launch of Overwatch 2, we saw an immediate decrease in the amount of base cosmetics a hero would get, with new heroes like Sojourn, Junker Queen, and even Kiriko launching with only 2 base legendary skins, being a singular legendary skin model broken into 2 different color variants, and a single epic skin, literally half the number of skins that new heroes had launched with back in Overwatch 1. Now, this of course received a fair bit of criticism at the time, but considering the context of everything else that was going on with Overwatch 2 at that point, it kind of fell by the wayside as a criticism for most people who are more fixated on, shop skins and the price of the game and things like that. But as time went on, even this halved a number of base cosmetics for a given new hero started to further decrease. The next time we saw a drop-off in this regard was with the launch of Illari, who got the usual 2 base legendary skins, but this time didn't get an epic. Now, I will admit she did later actually get a base epic skin added to her loot pool, but when she first launched and for the first few months of her being in the game, it was just these two. Then after Alari, we got Malga, who went a step further in that he had 0 base skins whatsoever. He did still have the base rare recolors, which again, every hero has those and always has, but we're talking specifically about epics and legendaries, of which he launched with 0, and unfortunately set what is seemingly the current trend that we've thus far seen extend into the following heroes, being Venture and Juno, both of who launched with 0 base legendary or epic skins. Now, going back a bit, another key thing to take note of is that while new heroes were released with fewer base skins as part of their loot pool, there were still at the very least skins available for them. Most of these new heroes would be getting skins as part of battle passes from one season to the next, or available in the shop. So it wasn't like these heroes for the most part were completely deprived of skins and these sort of higher quality cosmetic items. It was more so an issue of them not having the base cosmetics, which in Overwatch 2 I do think is an issue, because the base cosmetics are the cosmetics which can be purchased with Overwatch credits, whereas anything in the shop and even technically the battle pass have to be acquired via the use of Overwatch coins, the Overwatch 2 specific premium currency, which didn't get carried over from Overwatch 1. So by removing these base cosmetics from the game, basically Blizzard was giving existing and long-term Overwatch veterans fewer options to purchase cosmetic items with all those credits they carried over from the first game. But anyways, focusing again on the additional cosmetic items, what I said about the heroes still getting shop and battle pass skins even if they didn't get base cosmetics didn't actually hold true for that long. Malga was the last hero we saw who launched with there being a battle pass and shop skin available that same season he launched, but after that, starting with Venture is where we saw things really take a dip for the worse. Venture, in their debut season, had 1 epic skin available in the shop and no legendary skins, period. That, at the time, was a new low. And it was made worse by the fact that Venture then proceeded to get 0 skins total in the following season, and 0 skins total again in the season after that, being the current Season 12. Now, during this whole process leading up to Season 12, there was obviously a lot of speculation in the community about why Venture was being neglected. Many people, perhaps reasonably so, were making speculative deductions about why Venture of all characters might be underrepresented in the cosmetic department, and whether or not those speculations were true, I think the real sort of revelation of what's actually going on here came with the release of Juno. Juno, as I mentioned in the opening, released in Season 12, a super popular, super cutesy hero who seems at her very core to be designed to sell skins, much like what we've seen historically with characters like Kiriko and Mercy, and yet she launched with nothing for players to buy. Venture, at the very least, got an epic skin in the shop during their initial debut season, but Juno has nothing. No base epic or legendary skins, no battle pass skins, no shop skins. Nothing for her debut season. And unlike Venture, who arguably wasn't getting skins because Blizzard merely didn't think those skins would sell, there's absolutely 0 chance that Blizzard wasn't expecting Juno to be a big skin seller. And this is what finally struck the realization for me of what's probably actually going on here. You see, it isn't the case so much that Blizzard doesn't want to make skins for these new heroes. The main issue is that I don't think Blizzard can make skins for these new heroes. At least, not yet. And the reason for this is something a bit more real and ugly than I think most of us really like to talk about most of the time. Now, I will admit this is all speculation on my part because I don't know what's actually going on within Blizzard as a company. I don't know the specifics of their production cycle for content in Overwatch or skin cosmetics. But at this point, I very firmly believe that the reason we're not seeing new skins get added for new heroes like Venture and Juno is because of the state of Blizzard as a company. As I'm sure we're all well aware, within the past year, Blizzard has gone through a lot. lot. Over the past 12 months, we saw Microsoft finalize its acquisition of Activision Blizzard, an acquisition which for any large corporate entity will cause quite a bit of upheaval and turmoil within that respective company, along with the massive layoffs we saw hit Blizzard earlier this year, many of which focused on not only the Overwatch team, but also the cosmetics and art department specifically. And while most of that is stuff that happened more than 6 months ago at this point, I think the current state of skins and cosmetics in Overwatch today is more than anything a knock-on effect of that which happened. You see, for a big company like Blizzard and a major title like Overwatch, they're always going to have a sizable buffer of content ahead of time. It's not like a skin is produced and then instantly drops into the game. No, those production cycles usually finalize several months ahead of when that content ever sees the light of day. So most of the new content we're seeing in Overwatch right now, getting released in Season 12, let's say, is stuff that was heavily worked on for the most part 6 to 12 months earlier. And again, that's a vague estimate. It of course can vary pretty substantially one way or the other depending on the specific thing, but in general, it is safe to say that Blizzard always, or at least used to always, have a pretty significant buffer there. So the point I'm trying to get at here is that with the layoffs and massive upheaval of Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard, I think the lack of new skins for new heroes is the result of all that chaos. Blizzard isn't organized or collected enough at the moment, or at least hasn't been for the past several months, such that they're unable to put out new cosmetic content for these new heroes. In fact, I'd wager that the new heroes themselves are probably only just barely making it out the door. And Blizzard is more than anything probably flying by the seat of their pants in a lot of regards, and have been for the better part of a year at the moment. So while Blizzard may still be putting out new Mercy and Kiriko skins season after season, the reality is these skins we're getting in this season today were likely finalized several months ago, which is something that Blizzard can realistically do for heroes who've been in the game for 2 or more years. But when it comes to a new hero edition, a character like Venture or Juno, who only just finalized into a complete enough state that Blizzard could even begin to work on cosmetics for them within the past few months, it makes sense why Blizzard wouldn't be able to have skins already produced for a character who only reached a point of being able to produce cosmetic skins just recently. But you might say, how does that explain past new heroes who launched with base cosmetic skins in their loot pool, along with shop and battle pass skins for that hero releasing the same season they did? Well, I think overall, again, it comes down to Blizzard's production issues. Much like the skins themselves, past new heroes were probably finalized pretty well in advance of them actually being added to the game. We're talking upwards of a year in many scenarios, which would then give a significant buffer of time for Blizzard to work on cosmetic items, which again can only be started after they've already finalized the character's visual design and in-game model and all that. But with the case of Venture and Juno, I'm willing to bet these aspects of the hero have been finalized far closer to their actual release than historically has been the case for heroes. We know that Venture and Juno at least had concepts for their appearance as far back as BlizzCon 2023, although it is worth noting that in the case of Juno, the original concept we saw of her at BlizzCon was notably different from the final version we actually got in-game, not only in terms of the abilities and weapons she has, but also just little elements of her character design having been simplified into the final in-game model. And while there's no way for us to say for sure when exactly that finalization was set in stone between that initial showcasing back at BlizzCon and her release in Season 12, it is safe to say that Blizzard wouldn't be able to seriously start developing skins for her as a hero until that design was finalized. It would be a total waste of time and effort to start concepting skin ideas for a hero who doesn't even have a finished base design yet. And if Blizzard currently is truly flying by the seat of their pants as much as it seems they might be, that would very much explain why they're able to barely get a hero out the door, but not have any leftover time to actually develop skins for them. It's a rather unfortunate situation, something which I imagine is as frustrating for the devs themselves as it is for us in the community who want to see these skins, but it's kind of just the way it is. I do think we'll eventually start to see more skins for these newer heroes as time goes on, and Blizzard has more time to actually concept develop and produce them, since in a lot of ways I think this is what we're finally starting to see happen for heroes like Lifeweaver and Alari, who've now been in the game for more than a year, but I do think it's going to take time. We know at the very least that Venture will be getting some kind of skin in Season 14, but as for Juno, well, we can only just hope and keep our fingers crossed that it's sooner rather than later. I will say that I certainly hope as time goes on and Blizzard sort of better adjusts following the Microsoft acquisition and all the upheaval of the layoffs, that they'll be able to better streamline their content production pipeline such that we do get new skins more rapidly like we did back in the good old days, but we'll have to wait and see whether we actually ever reach that point again. Ideally we would, and maybe once we do, we can start to see fewer recolors being pumped out every season, since to me, the overbearing number of recolors that are getting added with every season at this point is a blatant indicator of Blizzard's inability to make new things at the moment. I mean, recolors are the cheapest, easiest thing to produce, and while they most certainly don't generate nearly as much revenue as an original skin being added, they at the very least offer something for players to buy, and probably more than anything just sort of flesh out the amount of content in a given season, even if it is pretty negatively perceived by the community. So all that being said, I do think it really comes down to just the state of Blizzard as it is now. The dev team is probably working on very narrow time constraints in terms of actually getting the content we do get in-game out the door, and all that being said, I'm personally glad that Blizzard is seemingly focusing more on things like hero production as opposed to skin production, because at the end of the day, having new heroes enter the game is more exciting and interesting and better for the game than merely new skins. If there is one element of Overwatch that I'd be most okay with them cutting back on, if it's absolutely necessary in terms for them to actually keep producing content, it is the cosmetics, because at the end of the day, as much as we all love a cool skin for our favorite hero, it's not as important as getting new gameplay components that actually give us something new and fresh to do in the game itself, because those are always going to be better at retaining existing players and probably bringing in new ones. But I think that more or less wraps up the state of Overwatch 2 when it comes to new heroes not getting skins. I definitely want to hear your thoughts on all this, because I think it is a very divisive topic. A lot of people seem really heated that characters like Venture haven't really gotten any skins yet, and while I definitely get that, and it's unfortunate for your favorite hero to not have anything, especially while other heroes seem to constantly get skins season after season, a lot of it I really think just comes down to the state of Blizzard at the moment and working with what they can. And once again, thank you to Manta Sleep for sponsoring today's video. Again, be sure to check them out via the link down in the description and use code MIG to get 10% off your order. And otherwise, be sure to subscribe, hit up that bell icon, follow me on X, and join my Discord server to hang out and never miss any future Overwatch 2 news streams and other content. Special thanks to my YouTube channel members who help make these videos possible. And if you'd like to join them to earn some cool rewards, then just hit that join button down below. Otherwise, this is Master Ian Gamer signing off, and until next time, have a great day.